Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to The Man That Can Project with Lachie Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to The Man That Can Project.
Welcome back to another episode. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I am the founder of the Man That Can Project and host of this incredible podcast. Now, for those who follow along closely with Instagram and are a member of the free Facebook group, you'll have seen that recently we've consistently started hitting 15,000 downloads a month. Now, I never set out with a specific goal around numbers. As I wrote in the post, my intention when I started this podcast, which actually didn't start under the Man That Can Project, it was that long ago, my intention was to share my learnings. It was almost like an audio journal of my life and the experiences that I was having, much like Instagram also allowed me to sort of write posts about that and document photos. So obviously, it's gone on to be able to share the stories of incredible people from all around the world. Plus, now we're getting a lot of great guests on here in terms of experts to share incredible tools and strategies and insights on how we can improve ourselves as men, and basing that around the 8 areas. So it's an incredible thing that I'm really excited about, and also very grateful to everyone who tunes in. We've got listeners from all around the world, which is not bad. And it sort of ties into today's topic, which is about striving for more. But before we do, if you haven't already liked or subscribed to this podcast, please do that now. And if you get value from these episodes, whether you let me know or share them on your social media, the more you guys take time to share it as a story, or even if you post about it, it has a huge positive impact to get these episodes in the ears of more men who need to hear the messages to be empowered and take ownership for their lives. So thank you guys so much for all your support, and I look forward to connecting with you guys in the Inner Circle program. So to find out more about that, you can head over to themanthatcanproject.com/inner circle. I look forward to helping you guys create some momentum in your life. And remember, that's an online program, so you can join from all around the world, which is perfect for all you listeners who aren't currently in Brisbane, Australia. But let's talk about it. Strive for more. So there were a few things that highlighted this for me, or really made me reflect on it and want to put it into a podcast. One of the more recent ones was a photo that was taken with myself and my nephew at my 30th birthday. And I was crouching down with a non-alcoholic beer. How good are the non-alcoholic beers? A non-alcoholic beer, and my nephew was standing beside me but looking at me. And it reminded me how much our actions are viewed, and the potential, I'm not going to say ripple effect, but effect that it can have on the onlookers. And, take social media for an example. Some people may follow the Man That Can Project's content and get inspired and empowered and educated. Others may, go on the flip side, and it may challenge them, frustrate them, and they may hit that unfollow button. And as that was really high. I was thinking about that. We all, so not just myself, we all, every single one of you gentlemen listening right now, have the ability to either empower and inspire. I'll repeat that. You have the ability to empower and inspire, equally as much as some of your actions may traumatize or disempower, right? There's obviously various other things that our actions can do, but I want to highlight both sides because I know I have caused both the empowering and the inspiring, and I've also traumatized and disempowered people. And what it got me thinking about and what I want to pass on to you guys is the more intentional we are with our actions, the greater influence we're going to have. Every single day, right? And for the dads, you'll definitely resonate with this. I'm not a dad, but I spend a bit of time with my nephew. Someone is watching and someone is taking note of how you act. So not just what you say, but what you do. And that, happens just as much in the real world. I know there's a lot of people who watch how I act. Not just what I say on the podcast, I back up my actions. And there is also, equally as much people or many people that talk the talk but don't ever walk the walk, and people lose trust. They aren't inspired. They may be even disempowered or don't feel the need to hang around you or, try to avoid you because you don't follow or hold yourself to that standard that you've set yourself supposedly as. So I want you to think about this, gents, on a daily basis. And I think about this all the time. And I do this and I reaffirm this to myself by doing my affirmations in the morning, by reading, by meditating, by hanging around great people. It reminds me that I'm here to empower and inspire. And that starts with me. Right? I know if I'm not empowered myself, I know if I'm not inspired myself, I really struggle, and I'd call myself a fraud for trying to do that to other people. Inspire yourself first, man. Start with yourself. And we need to think about what standards do I need to have to do that? What inspires me? What empowers me? And, by setting those standards, we can choose to live by those day in, day out. And one thing that I'm actually about to go live on Facebook for in a moment, and obviously depending on when you're listening to this podcast, it's probably already been, but it's in the Facebook group. One thing that, today has happened for me, and I speak about this openly all the time, that I experience sadness, I go through self-doubt and, negative thoughts and emotions every month. Right? It feels like it's just like clockwork. And today was a day like that for me. And I feel like the way I carried myself in my interactions was very disempowering, was very potentially negative. And I worked so hard to try and change my state of mind, but I just felt in a slump. And this afternoon, as I've been trying to get myself re-inspired, I thought about, why potentially was I feeling low today? Why didn't I feel like striving more? Why was I playing a victim and being a grumpy bastard? And granted, this is all okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just trying to understand why I experience things. And I think it's very important for all of us to start understanding why we experience the highs and also why we experience the lows, because the greater awareness we have, the more we can have control over outcomes in our life or feelings that we have. But I realized that, most mornings I start with reading. I did that this morning, tick, coffee, tick. But what went missing for me? During the time that I commute, I love to listen to positive content, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a motivational video on YouTube. And for me today, that was the thing that was missing. And granted, I listen probably 90 minutes to 2 hours worth of podcast and audio a day. So it's a fair bit. And today I didn't do that. I chose to listen to music because the book that I'm reading at the moment was cool, brought some stuff up for me. I don't know if anyone's ever had that before, or maybe I'm just going through that midlife crisis at bloody 30. But it brought a lot of stuff up for me around mortality and the relationships that maybe I'm not prioritizing that I should. And because of that, I felt sad, right, after reading this morning. So when I was on my way to the office, I decided to put on some sad music. Fucking crazy. And looking back over the day, that for me is a massive highlight or a massive trigger as to maybe why my mood was the way that it was. Rather than reinforcing and fueling my mind with positive content that empowers me and inspires me, I was choosing to, remain sad and feed that negative emotion. Now, I'm not saying, it's a bad thing. It's definitely not. I felt like, and I chose to consciously make that decision to feed that because I felt like I wanted to feel sadness for a moment in time today. But, I guess the learning for me through that moment was, okay, I've been in the middle of that. I got to experience what I wanted from that, but now I need to be able to, pull myself out of that. And knowing what I know now, what I would do faster than I originally did it was after that, fuel myself with some positive content. Whether it's a positive conversation with someone that I know, whether it's a podcast or, like I said, a motivational thing, do that to start fueling the brain to get me thinking in an empowered and inspired way. So it drives me to, strive for more because every day, guys, every day I want to do better. I accept where I am. I accept who I am and I love where I am and I love who I am. But I want to get better because it's that quote, and I can't remember who quoted it, but you're either growing or you're dying. And for me, the process of understanding myself more, understanding my business more, understanding the people that I spend my time around with, understanding my clients more, right, understanding my hobbies more is exciting to me. Sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's challenging, sometimes I doubt myself, but it is exciting because when you see progress, it motivates me even more to work harder, to enjoy that because I love the satisfaction of proving to myself I can do more than I originally thought possible. And I guess I want to, there is no flow of this conversation, but there was a few experiences today, like I mentioned, that brought this up for me. And, I was chatting to my brother who lives in Ontario in Canada today. And, we were chatting about, his life at the moment and, obviously my life as well. And one of the challenges for him personally was, he doesn't feel like he has an environment like the one that we have over here. And I want to highlight this because he's not the first person who has said that to me. There has been people all around the world who have said that to me. Australia's a bit different with how people, interact and what people are driven to do. And I had to pull it up quick, much like I do with everyone else. I call bullshit on that. There are people exactly like I am. There are people exactly like you guys who are listening into this because I believe you are striving for more. I believe this podcast, you guys will definitely resonate with because you're here investing time in it. There are people everywhere striving for more. Just like 7 years ago, before I was striving for more, before I got out of my rut, there were still people who were high achievers. There were still people who were striving for more. And in every place in the world, there are those people. Right? They are there. We just have to look for them. They're not going to come and find us. No, they're too busy, or not busy, they're focused on striving for more. That's what they're doing. They're not dwelling. And I said to my brother, and I haven't actually thought about this too much, so I may listen back to this episode and change my perspective, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think it may spark some great conversation or at least plant a seed for some people. I asked my brother what he earned, right? And he earns X amount a year. And I remember what I used to earn, a couple of years ago, and the environment that I was around and the people that I got to hang around, and generally how people at that same income level thought. And I'm not saying this is not, this is a generalization. This is not absolute, okay? But most of the people who are earning the same amount of income that I was weren't talking about the things that were going to get me to the income that I wanted or just get me to have the conversations that I needed to have. Right? The conversations that I feel I needed to have and that I have regularly and we have all the time within the Men That Can Project's inner circle and just with my one-on-one clients is about life. It inspires more self-awareness, improves the emotional intelligence, helps us build deeper, more meaningful relationships with ourselves and those around us. Right? Generally, people who are thinking that way and who are open, who have done essentially enough work to be able to have those conversations, to have their communication upskilled to that level, are generally people who are earning more. So if people are drawn to money, think about this. If you want to get around people who are having the conversations that you want to be having, increase your value. And I don't necessarily mean net worth here. I mean your value. I increased my value before my net worth improved. I improved my communication. I networked better. I started doing things for free. I started running events for free, which taught me a whole range of skills around setting up events and inviting, sales, marketing, all of that sort of stuff. I did that for free, but it started to upskill myself so I became more valuable to more people, which as a result of that I improved my network with people who felt they could get value from what I had to offer. So when you look at potentially where you're at and use income as, I guess, as a base standard potentially to highlight, okay, well, if I'm earning X amount a year, the people that are potentially having the conversations that I feel I want to be having may be earning Y amount a year. What do I need to do to add value to those people? How can I add value to those people so I can hang around them, so I can have the conversation, so I can learn how to strive for more? Because, guys, when we're looking to improve ourselves, right, that whole striving for more, there's the rational, logical components of things, right, the skills, the processes that go into place. But then there's the emotional, right, the physiology that happens, which is generally what we need to hang around people who are doing that to understand. So for myself included, and one thing that I've just uploaded a new video to the Inner Circle portal about creating the life that you want. And one of the questions in there is so powerful around how to improve your network and things that I've done to do that. But doing that will, change the game. But we need to identify where we're at, and we need to be hungry to strive for more. And never forget that every action that you take, everything that you say has the ability to empower, inspire, or, as I mentioned earlier, disempower and traumatize on a more hectic level. So keep that in mind. And if you want to keep that in the forefront of your mind moving forward, start practicing affirmations. I can't speak highly enough of that practice. It's such it's such a powerful practice, and it's simple and it's free. It just takes time, investment, and intention. So guys, if you got value from this, please, please, please leave a review and share it with a mate that you know would get value, or share it on your stories, or even do a post about it. It really helps us continue to grow the Men That Can Project and allow more and more men to be or become aware about what we're doing here to help more men take action for their lives, learn to love themselves, and recognize the value that they have to give. Also, remember to check out the Inner Circle, or head over to the website, themanthatcanproject.com/inner circle, to find out how you can get involved with us and start taking your life to that next level. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.